Hi, I thought I would do a spur of the moment chat with you this morning. I hope some of you are able to make it. Please feel free to chat in the chat box and let me know if you're there. I have many changes in my life right now, and it's a little bit hectic with organizing some new coaching programs, and my son is about to leave home to move out of home in the next 2 days. He's 24, he's getting married in January, and so he's found a little place to live, and so that's pretty exciting. And so lots of changes going on, and my other two sons are in two different states, and so we're all over the place. And so I thought I would just have a little chat this morning. I haven't posted for a while, and so I thought let me do a live chat and just kind of check in with parents out there, parents of teens, chat about how you're doing. And today what I wanted to talk about is two coaching questions that are always great to ask yourself in any situation. And that is what's working and what's not working. And just with a bit of encouragement to first talk about what is working, because there is always something working. Often we look at what's not working and we get depressed and we get down and we're negative and things are tough. But look at what is working for you right now, whether you are a homeschool mom, whether you've had to homeschool your kids for the first time, whether you are, having to have a full-time business as well as make sure your teens get to their computers for their online classes. No matter what situation you're in, there are things that are working. And so just to give yourself some grace and look at those things that are going well. So take some time to just look at the things that you can be proud of and things that are working well. And so that's the first question. Second question is, what is not going so well for you right now? And so I want to focus on this so that you can find perhaps one thing that you can perhaps change or implement that will make a big difference, that'll make that shift. And I want to focus on sort of two things today, and that is the systems that you have in place in your home and perspective, the perspective that you have during this lockdown, during this time that is, very difficult for many people. And obviously my whole thing is always to, help parents with relationships with their teenagers and to be able to have more connection in their homes, because that is really where my heart is mostly. And so looking at systems in your home, asking yourself, do you have some kind of schedule? That's always really important to analyze your schedule. And this is not just a schedule for you. This is a schedule for the home. This is a schedule to help everyone do what they are supposed to do, to get to be responsible for certain things, and to ask your teenagers, what can you do? Who can do what? Because this is what you need to be scheduling, their chores. Are they doing chores? Are you just kind of doing it all? Do you think you need to do it all? And that often is the case where parents think that they need to do it all, and they actually don't. They need to be able to schedule in so that everyone is doing their part, everyone is playing their part, everyone is taking responsibility for certain things within the home. And when we brought up our teenagers, we always try to relate to real world experiences as much as we could. And so chores were always, that's real world experiences. They need to know how to cook, they need to know how to clean. And perhaps this is a great time for them to learn these things and be part of hey, I'm going to cook the meal on Friday evenings, or Johnny's going to organize games on the weekend, board games. And so get them involved in that schedule. Because this is a team, a family is a team effort. It's about serving one another, not waiting to be served. And so that is something to look at. And so, who is doing what and who can do more, and how can you, balance those responsibilities and share them out. Secondly is getting into a routine. Is important. So certain times when they do their schoolwork, certain times when they do their chores, even certain times when they have their downtime, all of that scheduled in, getting them into routines. These small little micro routines will help you with big gains over time, because routines will help them to build good habits, to become more effective, productive, and kind of intentional. And those are really important. And so they know exactly what times they need to be doing their chores, or what times, and what that looks like. And those little routines are really, really great for building more lasting long-term habits. And then also encourage your teens to set themselves a goal each day, something that they're working towards. And goals need to be realistic and attainable. And you got to be careful of teenagers who have the type A personality, and that they're hard on themselves and they want to get it all done. You need to just be a coach and ask a question: is this doable? How will you achieve this? And just be there to support them. But it's important for them to have at least one goal each day that they're wanting to achieve. And so that they feel accomplished by the end. Okay, I managed to get this done. And it might be something like, okay, I want to get all my schoolwork done by a certain time so that I can have downtime. Maybe they want to set that goal for 2:00, whatever that looks like, and help them to see the benefits of that, because a goal needs to be rewarding. Even if it's a goal that is something that they know they have to do, there needs to be that 2% enjoyment if it's a hard goal to achieve. And so challenge them to look at the benefits of that goal. What would your day look like when you've achieved your work at a certain time? What are the benefits of that? How would that feel? Like, live in that moment of, wow, having all this amazing free time and time to do your projects that you enjoy, and to get them to see those benefits of getting those things done. Then the other thing I want to talk about is helping them to build resilience, particularly over this time. And you don't want them to be fearful, and sort of you want to help them to move forward and to push through those setbacks that they're finding, those challenges that they're finding right now. Maybe it's friends or social or just demotivation or whatever it is. The question is, like, how are you responding in hard situations? What is your body language, and how are you communicating of how you respond, through challenging times, through trials. And a great way is to, have conversations about it. Help them to be realizing that failing is important. Making mistakes is important for growth. It's important to make those mistakes so that you can be successful. Have conversations about famous people that have failed often, but that have become very successful, because many teenagers are very fearful of failure. They have a society that places all these high expectations on them, and they see failure as not a good thing. Help them to have a healthy relationship to failure, and talk about failing forward. Fail often, fail early, but always fail forward. That's a quote from a famous coach, John Maxwell. Failing forward is about learning through the experiences. Not trying is failing. Trying and failing is a good thing. It's helping them to become more confident, because that's how they learn, and that's how they learn about themselves. And so focus on learning, not on the grades and the performance, but focus on what are you learning about yourself. And that's another great coaching question to ask your teens. What are you learning about yourself? And so the other thing I want to talk about is looking at your values as a family. Have a conversation about what your values are. What's important to you? What really matters to you? If it's relationships, how are you building those relationships? Challenge them. When they're not doing their chores and they're not being responsible or doing what they're supposed to do, that's affecting your family values. Help them to see that connection. When you're not honoring each other by not doing your chores, you want that connection if that's one of your values. And so talk about that, and talk about where are we not honoring our values as a family. What can we do better? Be accountable to each other, and let them know that you fall short, that you're not perfect. Hey, this is where I really struggle. Help me. It's a teamwork. It's you want to create that connection and show that you are not perfect, that you make mistakes, and that you ready to ask for forgiveness if that's where you're at. Ask for forgiveness, and encourage one another to be better. And the other last thing I want to talk about is perspectives. And maybe you need to have a reframe. And maybe it's just been a really tough time for you and you've been focusing a lot on, what isn't going well. And, my kids aren't listening to me. This is like, I do it all and it's just not working out. And no one appreciates me and I do all these things. And maybe just by getting them to be responsible for what they need to be responsible for and that you were not meant to do it all. You're not meant to be super mom or super parent to the rescue. You wanting your teens to contribute. And so think about those real world experiences that you want to teach them to have responsibilities, and that's going to help you as well. And how things have changed. Look at the environment, like what is realistic right now. What worked 5 months ago may not be working now, and maybe you're trying to do what you were doing 5 months ago and you realize that you're just having these high expectations or your expectations of others are being placed on you. And maybe you've seen your identity as being the super parent to the rescue, and maybe that's not the right way to go about it. And so think about what is realistically possible. What are the essential things I need to be doing? Perhaps you have been focusing more on the non-essentials. Perhaps you need to let go of some of those expectations, maybe unrealistic expectations, and look at what's important as the family and focus more on how you can honor those values that you have together. What sacrifices need to be made right now. And so, those are great questions to ask, like what is working? Go back to what is really working. Give yourself some grace, give yourself some forgiveness, and just see that there have been things that have been working. And then think about those things that are not working. And think of perhaps one thing that you can do differently, one thing that perhaps with schedules or systems or getting teens to be more responsible, and what you can do to change, to make that shift so that you can shift your reframe and shift your perspectives. And I always believe in conversations. Family conversations are great ways to figure out what is working and what's not working. And these conversations are not advising, they're not interrogation, they're not lecturing. It's really getting to know, hey guys, bring the family together. What's not working right now? Like what are the solutions? Like what are your ideas that you have? And brainstorm some ideas with your teenagers and your kids, because this helps them with buy-in when they have they play a part in the solutions of how they can. Their ideas are important, and that you value their opinions and their solutions, and then work a way forward. And have that conversation and see what they have to say, and get them excited. Then get them. There's more motivation when they have ideas that work, and say, hey, well, who can do Friday evening dinners, and what does that look like? And maybe someone's going to plan the weekend board game evenings, or just kind of get their ideas and see how you can make a way where you don't have to do it all. You really don't have to do it all, and doing it all is not helping them become confident young adults, who can be prepared for real life when they do leave home one day. And so I hope that this has been encouraging for you. I hope that there's maybe one thing that, hey, I can do this. It's not so bad. We're here together as a team, your families as a team. And so if you have any questions, please put that down in the chat box. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.